Oh, Jonathan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You got into PropTech, and on your website it says we take the chaos out of property management. Can you talk to us a bit about that chaos that you're trying to solve?
So basically, where we started off building Brickley and how we realized that we were going to remove chaos from the property management is that the way the systems are currently built are very old. There are people that still use pen and paper. There are Excel files all over our desktops, and stuff is pretty hard to find. By building Brickley, we wanted to centralize everything and remove that chaos by making the procedure simple for everyone.
So when you talk to different people, you notice that they were using outdated tech, and that's how you decided that there's a gap in the market and you wanted to build this platform?
100%.
Okay, interesting. And so what got you into prop tech in the first place? Are you someone who's always wanted to be in real estate because you majored in business? Was real estate kind of your secret passion?
So after I graduated from John Molson in international business, I worked for 3 years in real estate development and was able to develop real estate all over North America, from standalone retail stores to Starbuckses to Sonder hotels. So I kind of really got a feel for development and for real estate, and that's where my passion kind of came in. And as doing the development, as fun as it is, there's obviously the issue of the chaos that comes back of dealing with tenants, dealing with property management, dealing with leases of all sorts. And after that, I realized that it was a broken system and it was time for a solution.
Are you focused mainly on the local market, or were your eyes on a wider market?
Honestly, building what we are building, especially in prop tech, we are aiming for a global market. We are, of course, starting in Canada, starting in Montreal, but aiming to go global.
So, of course, you've had your experience in real estate, but building a business is a completely different venture. So, what were the most challenging parts of starting your business?
The honest part of starting the business and where it was tough was first coming together and building a strong team. After that was really bringing the idea to life and doing your deep market research to know what's out there and what's not out there and what's missing. And the third, of course, is sleepless nights, but we do what we do because we love it.
Mm. So, talk to us about how you got your first couple of clients. Is this a need that did people expect this to happen a while back? So when they saw your platform, did they say, "Oh, finally, there's something we can use that will help us"? Or did you have to convert people and slowly talk them into the value that you're proposing?
We have many different ICPs, and the issue is we're starting in, of course, Montreal. People are forced to have it. They've been liking the way because it makes them money, the system's not broken, and people are also afraid of switching the way those systems work. So, yes, for a smaller demographic, of course, there was some sort of conversion, but of course, we're in prop tech. There are many other service providers that offer a similar product, but we came in with a twist and are building something that is completely different than what's out there right now.
Okay, so talk to me about this twist. Talk to me about why your product is so unique.
The reason why we find Brickley as a unique product is we like to stand on ourselves as we are going to launch very soon. We are a three portal system. Our first portal going from being the landlord portal and having anything a landlord would need from his day to day, from seeing his tenants, from his rent occupancy, from having his embedded finance, which is our accounting module and reporting module directly in one platform, being able to see your leases being uploaded directly to a platform and having everything centralized in one place, as well, of course, maintenance. And we jumped over after to our tenant portal, where our tenant portal soon to launch as well. tenants will be able to pay their rent directly through the portal. And as well, any sort of maintenance request that they would have, be able to make those requests directly through their portal, which would then be automatically transferred to the landlord's portal where he's able to see live notifications of when any sort of issues were there. And our third portal is our twist that we have recently been working on. It's our vendor portal. The reason why we wanted to bring in a vendor portal is that you have many landlords, and not saying that many landlords don't have their tradesmen of choice, but jumping on that standpoint, you have a landlord who has multiple units that would need, painting done, plumbing done. He's able to now post a job with a brief description, and it will be directly put on the vendor marketplace, and vendors who will be licensed vendors will be able to actually bid on that job.
That's actually awesome. So what you're saying is that on the platform, assuming I'm a landlord and I want to fix something for one of my apartments. So I would, instead of just having a guy, I could just post it on the marketplace and then they would, so what would happen next? They would just, you
Basically,
get multiple
once
offers?
So let's say if you're the landlord and you're posting it and you want to choose that you need this job done in the next 48 hours, or let's say you could choose your bidding time. So let's say you choose 48 hours. By that time, you will have multiple people that will put bids. At the end of the time, you'll be able to review who you want to go with. And then basically, we kind of took the dating app concept where it would be a match between one another, and you guys communicate and go through there to have him carry on the job.
Mm. I mean, that's really interesting because I live in a big building, and usually whenever there's any repair, you have to get in line. So if there are a bunch of repairs before you, you just have to wait for the guys to be done so that your turn can come in next. So Jonathan, I want to take a step back. So why did you even start to go down the entrepreneurial route? I mean, what you're doing is super exciting. I want to get back to the services, but why did you start a business? I mean, it seems like you were having a good career. Why start your own business?
The drive. And it's a kick that not everyone can do, but by building something where you can see a movement actually change and you can actually have an impact where people could actually use something you've built and your vision comes into reality.
So did you have a clear vision from the get-go,
No.
or so how did that evolve?
It evolved by honestly the process of trial and error and seeing where the gaps in the market were and kind of putting all those puzzle pieces together and coming through with a full image.
Are there people around you that are entrepreneurs? I mean, is there like family, friends that inspired you to start your own business?
Yes, lots from family to friends, seeing the journey and the freedom as well, and and how rewarding it was also a very big boost.
And so by building this platform, what are the main milestones? Because you say, as you say, you're going to launch soon the full product. So what are the initial milestones that you're looking forward to?
Our initial milestone is, of course, our full product launch. Then after that is getting a good, geographic standpoint in Canada and really getting everyone to understand how the market is now going to take a change. And then after a US expansion would be a second milestone for us. And third milestone, as everyone would say, would be being a unicorn.
Awesome. And well, it's good to have that kind of drive and ambition, Jonathan. So, did you actually start pitching your product to get some funding, or like, are you thinking about this right now, or are you keeping it for later, for after you launch and once you start acquiring your customers?
I've basically over time have a love-hate with building pitch decks. So going from there that yes, there's been some conversations, but nothing until there's a full launch and good volume.
Have you attempted to start something in the past, or is this your first go at starting your business?
This is my first go, and it's going pretty well up to now.
Okay, awesome. And so, assuming you wanted to go into like the US market, for example, do you are you afraid about the current situation? I mean, with we have news every day about the tariffs and not so positive news about new restrictions. People are scared, elections here and there. Do you see this as an opportunity? Do you see this as a challenge for your business? How do you feel about all this?
The last thing I do see it as is a challenge. The reason why is that I am also in a domain right now that doesn't really have trade or anything that will affect. We are a software. And I do think that, especially where AI is nowadays, there is a lot of people that are evolving with it. And we see this as a huge opportunity because real estate's not going anywhere. You wake up every morning, you see it, you go to bed, you see it, it's there. You look out your windows, you will see buildings. People and new generations need to have new current ways on how they're going to manage their real estate.
I'm glad you mentioned AI. You talk about AI supporting your platform. And nowadays, let me be blunt, a lot of companies are coming up and saying we're an AI company. So how do you actually practically use AI inside your software, and how does it help you?
Well, when the software is going to have our full launch, we have a lot of AI embedded features through there, where those days of manually entering leases into a system will be gone with the simple drop and click, having our AI and our LLMs going through your entire leases and parsing through the important information. Then jumping through that as well, we are actually building a Brikli AI, which will be our chatbot, which you'll be able within the platform to ask from basic questions such as what is your current occupancy rate or what leases are coming up due to please extend X person's lease by a couple of months, and our AI will actually draft a template for you, and you will be able to compare. And if it's all good, send to go and Adobe sign.
Jonathan, are you a technical person?
I've grown up loving tech. I'm an Apple fanatic and a geek, but I am not a coder.
So as someone who was able to build a platform, how were you able to get the confidence to do this without any kind of coding experience?
Well, I do have a amazing team, and my lead right now, CTO, which has been helping us a lot through this entire process and is part of the Brickley family, has got us to where we are.
So how did you manage to put this team together? Are these close friends? Is this because their skills align with your vision? How does that work?
Well, basically, Zubin, which is my CTO on the team, we were connected over LinkedIn and shared some ideas and liked what we were doing and got together and, pen and paper to the drawing board and got to what we needed to be.
Are you the sole founder or do you have a co-founder?
I am currently the sole founder.
Have you considered it before having someone else with you, or did you want it to be your own, your baby, something that's entirely yours?
Listen, I'm always open, to have the conversation, but it has to have someone who has the same fire and the same aligned vision.
You've been at this for about a year and a half now. So has it been, was there a moment you told yourself that this might not work, this is tough, this is, because a lot of people, especially solo founders, they tend to burn out after a few months. They obviously get out of it and then they get this fire again. Did you feel this at some point? Did you have any like major setbacks?
Listen, there's always setbacks in certain ways, but the way that I've gone through building this platform is tunnel vision, and there's no looking back.
Interesting. And so, how do you feel about the current Canadian real estate market? You said it yourself. Real estate is here. I mean, no matter what happens, people are going to still keep building, keep living in houses. So, how do
Mhm.
you feel about it? Especially that some people have concerns about the economy. Are you concerned about real estate specifically, or are you just so confident with that it's just going to keep growing and growing?
I believe that real estate is going to keep growing. I still drive by a lot of plots of land that are empty, and I'm sure month after month, those plots will be filling up. And especially with where the economy is and what's going on, there are going to be more people coming into Canada and they're going to need places to live, and more people starting new businesses and they're going to need offices to build and more warehouses and utility functions. And that's just how I think it's going to keep going.
So are you aimed more at the commercial or residential or both?
Both.
Okay. Do you like you say both, but do you feel like one of them is going to be an easier target for you as a business?
Yes, residential.
Okay. Is this because you had conversations with people, you tested your market?
I believe that the honestly, it's a two-part question. The reason why we do see residential being where it will kind of take the ball on that one is, of course, by having it with the tenant portal, with the vendor portal, with the landlord portal, having people that will need to report a broken sink. It's basically what is needed. The way that structured systems are put now in real estate management are people are on the landlord side either doing pen and paper or using Excel or using other platforms. And on the tenant side, it's basically a loose phone number, which is their super's phone number that they have to call if they ever run into any issues. And most of the time, that super is not answering the phone. And by the time they get in contact with someone, they've had this issue for 3 or 4 days now. So we really view that as a solve point. And by bringing in the vendor portal as well for people that you would need to fix certain things that you don't usually have someone on call for is where the vendor portal comes to help the landlord.
What's the range of maintenance and type of requests that you're willing to take on? Is it an open, a blank field and people can request anything, or do you have some very specific criteria?
Currently, since that vendor portal is still in full development, right now we are taking it to a open criteria, meaning from anywhere from a contractor to a painter to a plumber to someone that needs to do roofing. We're open to it all.
But when I gave you the example of my building, we
Mhm.
know that that person is going to get things done. I mean, it might not be the quickest, might not be,
Mhm.
I might not be first in line, but we know he's going to get things done. So when you open a marketplace like that, are you concerned that there might be issues between those different businesses?
The reason why we see this as well is that what we do want to do is that when that vendor is going to make that bid, you will have access to who he is. You'll have access to his website. You'll have access to do your own research. And you will be able to see if the work that he's done in the past speaks for itself.
I mean, you're obviously a very sharp person, Jonathan, but whenever you need advice, because starting a business can be a bit overwhelming, who do you go to?
Honestly, my mother.
Is she kind of like a mentor, or has she done something similar in her life?
She is my mentor and she runs a fashion company.
Okay, awesome. So for people who are listening to us right now and want to start their own business, and they're listening to you, someone who has this very strong vision. And today, the way you're talking to me, it sounds like you're not going to give up anytime soon, and you're 100% confident that this is going to work. What would you say? What would you tell someone who has a vision and have their own plans to start their own company?
I think that there is no time and you're never late to start your own company. And not saying that your first idea is going to be the hit, and trial and error becomes your best friend, and you got to push.
Jonathan, I can't wait to see where you'll be in a couple of months, in a year. Thank you so much for taking the time. That was very insightful.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.